yeah, you can file this segment under news you never thought you would ever see or hear. This is a segment about Planned Parenthood. Could it be your new med spa and Botox spot? Yeah, so I don't know. I feel bad for Planned Parenthood. I mean, it may be controversial to some, but I actually think they do a great service for the community. They provide a lot of services that people really need. And, I just hate that they kind of get caught up in the politics of it all. But what has happened, as you may or may not know, that their budgets have just gotten slashed. Oh, yeah. It's all from the abortion. That's the politics part. I mean, I don't think a lot of people, get riled up about them, handing out birth control or, they do a lot of essential women's, services. But yeah, their budgets have been slashed just with, current administrations. And I hate that. But they actually, one section of it, so this is Planned Parenthood Mar Monte. So apparently Planned Parenthood is broken into regions.
Okay.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so Mar Monte actually services California and Nevada. And apparently they have a $100 million revenue gap, which that's pretty rough. And so they came up with this very interesting solution, which I honestly am a little impressed with. They are actually now offering Botox and IV fluid therapy. And so if you don't know this, you may or may not know this, that IV fluid therapy is a big thing in med spas.
Yeah, and that makes a little sense to me.
Okay.
The IV fluids, because if somebody comes in and needs, hydration or anything like that, like it's a health thing.
It is, except that typically these don't go through insurance, is my understanding. Like this is kind of a fee for
out of pocket.
Yeah, it's a fee for service thing. Like you just don't, feel, great that day. I mean, I tell you, if you've ever gotten IV fluids, they actually do make you feel a lot better.
I used to have a membership.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're like, about
every 2 months, because I play a lot of tennis and I'm traveling a lot for work. I'm traveling a lot for fun. Okay. And then it was kind of just like, hey, this is good for you. So
it's funny. I've never gotten IV fluids outside of when I've actually been sick, which has not been many times, right? When I had surgery. I think they're helpful. I just always worry about getting your veins stuck over and over.
Yeah.
Is that going to mess up your veins so when you're old, you really need an IV, you can't get them? I don't know. I probably should know the answer to that question.
I'm going to need you to find this out.
Actually. Huh?
I'm going to need you to find this
out. Okay, I will
check
check into that because and the reason I say that is because, in the early days when, we were med students and, starting IVs, and then when I got into surgery and I was doing mainline catheters, when people had a lot of sticks in their veins, it did get harder.
Yeah.
And so, I'm sure, getting a couple IVs every now and then probably is not going to really...
My veins move around, so I have to do it in the hand.
I have really huge veins, although I don't know, they're not as big. When I used to work out a lot, my veins would just be enormous, and so people always be like, "Oh, you're such an IV stick." Or I used to donate blood, and then I started thinking
I donate plasma a lot, so I have scar tissue on my
vein. Yeah, right. And so
that's kind of what you're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, I used to donate a lot of blood, and so it's are my veins gonna be okay? Yeah. Am I gonna get some sort of clot now? Anyway, but yeah, so they're offering Botox and IV treatments, and soon they're gonna offer fillers and laser hair removal and potentially laser treatment.
You make that make sense to me.
Well, it's a pretty brilliant idea if I'm being honest. They obviously have providers that by law can technically do these things. A nurse can do injections, IV fluid therapy, lasers. My best injector at my med spa is a nurse, and I trained her up and got her trained and everything. It's not super complicated to do that.
I'm speaking, since I do marketing and social media marketing, from a brand perspective, what this makes
well,
sense.
I think that probably, and I don't know this because they didn't go into that level of detail, but I assume that, you look at who's the clientele coming in. It's a lot of women, right? Yeah. It's a lot of, younger, middle-aged women. That's a perfect target demographic for these type of services. It is. It's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
So is it going to be free?
Oh, no. No, okay. This is pay, right.
Okay, because I know a lot about what I think about Planned Parenthood is it's more of a...
No, this is Planned Parenthood's,
nonprofit.
side gig of you pay for these things. And so, one problem that I see with this business model, of course, is, med spa competition is fierce. I mean, it's crazy. You guys have probably noticed there's like a med spa in every corner. In fact, I just saw a stat when I was researching this. It said there's almost as many med spas in the United States as there are McDonald's.
Wow.
Like that's it's like really, really close, and probably it's going to overtake it in the next year or so.
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, that's good.
That's totally insane. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's good. I mean, competition is always good, I guess, if it makes you better. I mean, from our business standpoint, it does. I mean, we can see it. Like, we're definitely not the only med spa in town. There's tons of them, and so we try to be kind of like the higher end. Hey, this is a plastic surgeon's med spa. It's a little bit nicer. I mean, our facility is pretty nice.
Do you offer hormone therapy? I can't remember.
We don't do hormone therapy, and we don't do IV therapy, although we've talked about it so many times, and we have the ability to do it, and we may end up doing that. We just, I don't know, at some point you just don't want to like get
have too much
too quick. Yeah, right. As you get more and more clientele, then you start to branch out, right? So my concern is the competition of how many med spas are going to be around Planned Parenthood, and as somebody that actually is interested in those services, going to be like, why would I get this done at Planned Parenthood? I mean, that has to cross.
It's literally going through my mind right now.
Okay, but here's how they're going to counteract that. They're actually doing bargain basement prices. So, for example, in the areas where Planned Parenthood is doing this, Botox averages $12 per unit, which is pretty high, actually. I want to say ours is 10 or 11. I know it just went up, and so I'm not 100% sure what ours. So please don't run down to my med spa asking for $10 Botox. That may be wrong. If my office manager's watching, she's probably like about to jump to the screen and kill me. But okay, the average price is $12 in their areas. They're offering it for $9. Okay, that might entice some people. Because you think about like you have to get
quality.
I'm sure it is. It's going to be Botox or Dysport. It's going to be one of the same products that is, an actual legit.
So where are they making that up then?
Well, I mean, I'm
expecting you to know these questions.
Yeah, no, and I can tell you exactly. It's that, Planned Parenthood doesn't have to fund their whole budget from these med spa services, right? They're just looking for extra revenue.
Okay.
Versus,
does that change their tax situation? I mean, again, I'm sorry. Because they were a non-profit. I would think they're.
I think that
if you're taking
I can
money
imagine
from people,
their response is going to be, well, we're not looking to make a profit. We're just looking not to lose money, because they have a $100 million revenue shortfall. Okay. So that's a great question. I don't think that it would necessarily, get them in trouble for suddenly you're for profit, because I mean they're not trying to make a profit. They're just trying not to lose money. That's a good thought about someone to come after. I'll tell you, like, med spas are the Wild West in almost every state. And so I don't think they'll have an issue with is this inappropriate for Planned Parenthood to offer these service? I mean, now I have a friend who owns a Rapid Med, and they offer these services, and I'm just kind of like, okay, do you really go to the Rapid Med to get like your med spa services? I mean, some people do. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this? I mean, honestly, I hear this and I'm just like, this is the craziest thing I ever heard, until I go, well, actually, maybe it's not. I mean, you have people coming in, maybe people who don't have the money to pay full price for services, and they're already there. The prices are, 25% off what they would be if they went down the road to, another med spa. I don't know. What do you think? Are people?
I mean, again, this? It doesn't make sense to me, but again, it doesn't need to, because
right.
I am no one, so it really doesn't need to make sense.
I don't know. Like on the face of it, it sounds absolutely just bonkers. And then the more I think about it, I'm like, they're going to get some business.
Yeah.
They really are. And, when you offer these services, I mean, if you already have the building and you already have the providers, I mean, they're not having to outlay a ton of money. They're just having to buy product, which for them in their budget is nothing. So, I mean, they don't really have a lot to lose by trying it. Now, I do have a concern, okay? I have concerns about like legitimate med spas and the quality of work that comes out of them, right? And I don't know if you guys will remember this. I've said it a bunch on the show over the years, but I don't know how much I've said it in the past, few months since you guys have kind of joined. But when you have a med spa, like you do have to have a medical director. And in reality, the medical director is supposed to know what these treatments do and ideally how to give them and how to deal with complications. And so for me, this is my life, right? I mean, aesthetics, Botox, fillers, lasers. I mean, this is my whole career. Now, what happens at a lot of med spas is it's kind of expensive to hire a plastic surgeon or maybe a dermatologist, which would be a very good, alternative to be your medical director. So they just need to get a warm body to fill that spot. So oftentimes they will get medical directors that really have no idea about the products or aesthetics. In fact, that one big story we did at the med spa around here in the Metroplex where the girl died from IV therapy, their medical director was an anesthesiologist. Well, I mean, what does an anesthesiologist know about, aesthetics or Botox? They've never done Botox in their entire lives. They just are filling the spot of we need an MD to be over us. And so, that does give me a lot of concern about some med spas that have some rando doctor that is their medical director that has zero involvement with the patients, zero involvement of how things are done. And then what you have is you have these mid-levels, which, may not even be a nurse, depending on the state. It could just be someone who's a trained esthetician that is, really running the show here and is ultimately kind of responsible for outcomes and patient safety, even though on paper it's a doctor, right?
Yeah.
And so, I have that concern about a lot of med spas, like what kind of people are going to A, be injectors and B, be the medical directors for Planned Parenthood. And I don't mean that as a slight to Planned Parenthood, but when they're actually doing cut rate, prices.
Yeah.
Because
that's why I said, where are they going to make it up? Because they're going to have to pay the people.
Well, I assume what they're probably going to do is they're going to take a nurse that already works there and say, hey, who's willing to learn how to be an esthetician? And then they're going to send them to a week-long course on how to inject Botox and filler, and they're going to set them loose on the populace. Because I can tell you that it's hard to get good estheticians. I have one now, Maddie, and she's phenomenal, and I would hate to lose her because replacing her is tough. Because there's just a limited supply of people who are actually really good at these type of treatments, because it's not just going and taking a class. Like, there's a lot of artistry involved in this. It's the same thing I say about plastic surgeons. I mean, technically you could train anyone to be a plastic surgeon, but there's a lot of plastic surgeons that are good at it because they have that artistic kind of mind frame. They're more left brain than right brain. I feel like I'm like that. I mean, I look at some of the things I like to do, like music creation, like drawing, those are things that really kind of go hand in hand with plastic surgery and aesthetics. And so, same thing applies to injectors. I mean, I've had a lot of injectors over the years, and some get it and some don't. And it's like if Planned Parenthood is charging really low prices, I just worry about, I mean, I don't think they're going to be out there killing people.
Yeah.
But like the work that comes out of there may not be at least up to my quality.
Well, you get to what you pay for.
Yeah, you do. I mean, that is so true. You do get what you pay for. But I mean, on the other hand,
at least there's an option.
It's an option, right? And so maybe, maybe for some people that might be their first exposure to it, and it gives them the opportunity to try something that they otherwise may not have been able to do because it's a little bit cheaper. And, in the meantime, maybe Planned Parenthood, shores up some of their revenue loss.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about this one. I mean,
it's very bizarre, but
it's very interesting for sure. And I honestly kind of applaud them from a business standpoint. If they can pull it off, I mean, they're going to look like geniuses, right?
Yeah.
But I think it is going to kind of like depend on, who exactly is doing the injecting, who's overseeing it. But then at the end of the day, I mean, there's so many med spas out there running.
They have to add a little color to their buildings.
Yeah,
I don't know,
right.
I just want to feel a little bit.
Throw up that picture, Brenda, of the Planned Parenthood building. Like, let's see, it does not look as though some. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of very utilitarian there.
I mean, that one's nicer than most of the ones I've seen.
Is it?
Yeah.
So I googled
Same.
Planned.
I think there's one in Denton, or I think
Is there? I can't remember.
Oh, I've seen some, and the building
it's like by
looks,
Buc-ee's,
looks
Oh, is it
very
by
homely.
Buc-ee's? Oh, okay.
or like on that road.
I have to check it out.
I
But
mean, 'cause
yeah,
that's,
I'm intrigued to
that's
see
more
how this
inviting
comes
to
out.
me than most of the ones that I've seen. That's what I think when I go to like a med spa or get Botox filler. You know, I'm wanting to feel, I don't know, pretty and
posh.
and yeah, I'm not that. I don't get that vibe.
Yeah.
You know, nothing against them by any means.
Well-
and again, I am not against I'm not. I'm just saying like
Yeah.
this is what I want to feel when I go get some of these things.
And patients do appreciate that because we changed buildings a couple. It's been 2 years ago now or more, and I mean, not that my old office was bad, but it did look more like a doctor's office. It was nice for the building. Like it was probably the nicest interior for that building. But when I moved to my new building, I was like, okay, I'm already spending a ton of money. Let's spend a little bit more. Let's totally revamp the inside. And have you been to my office?
I haven't.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a
Yeah,
new
you'll have to
one.
come by sometime. Like
Yeah.
it is very nice
Yeah.
as far as aesthetics. It's not like penthouse New York,
Yeah.
Park Avenue quality, but it's probably just right below that.
Yeah.
We basically, as they say, good artists borrow and great artists steal. And so we basically looked at the interiors of a bunch of different really nice med spas and just took our favorite parts. And I was like, okay, contractor, make
Do this.
this. Yeah, do this. And it turned out nice. I mean, I do really like it. And people that come in are like, yeah, this is pretty posh. And we
Yeah.
got like the refreshment station and all that. Yeah. So but yeah, pretty interesting. Well, I'll have to do a follow-up on this at some point. I mean, we'll let a year go by and see if any news pops up about Planned Parenthood's new med spa ventures.
Hey.